Hey everybody, so Chip Kelly was fired, and as I have said before, Chip Kelly needed to be fired. I called for Chip Kelly's firing officially 2 weeks ago and expressed concerns about Chip Kelly's offense as far back as 9 months ago when I said that Kelly's problem was that the reason his NFL offenses didn't succeed is beyond a few plays, you could zero in on what they were trying to do and stop them. That Chip Kelly was known for not properly self-scouting what he was putting on the field in terms of what teams were running. And of course, what I said came to be proven yet again with the Raiders this year. And I had expressed concerns. I said that against the Broncos he should be fired. I expressed concerns that the offense was not of proper design. 2 months before that, I was on a constant tear of criticism about Chip Kelly. And again, 2 weeks ago, I said Chip Kelly needed to be fired. And that was after the awful game against the Broncos that the Broncos had no business winning, putting only 10 points up on the board. But that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. Meanwhile, many of you Raider fans expressed faith in Chip Kelly that really should be reserved for the Lord Jesus Christ. But oh no, you let Chip Kelly go and give Geno Smith bad game plan after bad game plan after bad game plan. You were content to blame Geno Smith for this, including you, Mitchell Rentz, and others, and Samoan Raider. All of you were just piling on Geno, saying really not much of anything about Chip Kelly. And I think it's mainly because a lot of you don't understand football strategy, really pay attention to such things as the topics that are popular with the NFL Big Data Bowl. You watch the game and you think that what you see is what is, when the truth is vastly different. The fact of the matter is that Chip Kelly lost his mojo, his innovative mojo, a long time ago, and has been mailing it in. I went back to videos I've done on Chip, going all the way back to when he was first with the Philadelphia Eagles and was really a big name then, really considered a big deal, because what he did back then was a big deal. Chip Kelly was known at Oregon for an ultra-fast offense, arguably the fastest offense ever developed for football. An offense so fast that when it was used in the NFL and started to be copied by other teams, the NFL put the kibosh on it. Yep. I don't know if you remember that referees would start to basically wait. They would hold the ball and wait for the defenses to come back and get set. They did this in particular with Peyton Manning, because Peyton Manning was known for the set alert, trying to catch you off guard, but it was also during the same time that Chip Kelly was installing this offense that literally, it looked like they were literally lining up. They were lining up without a huddle, but the time elapsed between the previous play and the play we were running, I think, was cut down to something like a good 15 seconds. It was an insanely, ungodly low time difference. Well, the NFL brought in a referee, or instructed the referee, to basically hold the ball until the defense came back and had a chance to get set. And that act alone killed the Chip Kelly offense, because that was Chip Kelly's claim to fame, the super fast offense that was a blur going down the field. Okay? That was Chip Kelly's claim to fame, and nothing else. I studied Chip Kelly. I remember when the Raiders were going to had Bill Musgrave as offensive coordinator, and Musgrave said that he was going to use Chip Kelly principles in his offense. So I was really intrigued by this and got a press credential, thanks to Will Kiss, to the Raiders hosting the Arizona Cardinals preseason game. This was in August 30th of 2015. And what I noticed was that Kelly asked his halfbacks, for example, to make that lateral move back and forth, and it was the idea was to he would also do it with his quarterback, Mariota. So it looked like Mariota was going to hand off really quick, but he could easily keep it and keep running. And that beautiful mesh was Chip Kelly's invention. And so, but that was it. There was nothing else. And nothing else. And again, once the NFL began to put the kibosh on Kelly's super fast offense, that was it. But he kept getting jobs because he was billed as this innovative guy, when in point of fact, nobody could really explain what it was he innovated other than that. That was it. At Ohio State, and he was on the right teams that got national championships, like Ohio State. And I'm not saying he didn't bring in great game plans, but honestly, it's easier to have a game plan that's somewhat different than what a college organization is faced with defending when you have tons of great talent like Ohio State does to make it work. But when you're in the NFL and you don't, it all goes away. So what happened with Chip Kelly's offense was that it ceased to be a thing. And it ceased to be a thing. And it was on top of that, Chip Kelly didn't do the homework regarding what he was putting on the field because other teams were scouting them. And by the time they got to the Cleveland Browns and Shedeur Sanders yesterday, you could see this on the defensive video. It's quite obvious that the Browns had scouted every play, and it's possible to do with computer technology today, and they had a defensive answer playing kind of a hybrid man-for-man approach with zone unfolding, so that if they saw the Raiders lining up 3 wide receivers to one side with Tucker outside wide, they knew to watch for the wide receiver screen to that side, and so what happened? Well, that ball was almost intercepted, and Tucker was down for a 3-yard loss. And it's also why Geno Smith was sacked not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, not 9, but 10 times. He was sacked 10 times in the game. 10. That's beyond embarrassing. But that's what Chip Kelly basically caused to have happen. I warned you all about it. You paid no attention, and now here we are. Remember something. Pay attention to what offensive coordinators do. Quarterbacks have to take their cues from the offensive coordinator. If Geno Smith were to say, hey, look, I don't want to do what you're asking me to do, Geno Smith would have been benched. He would have no job and no money. Okay? So you all don't seem to realize that when you're talking about these quarterbacks, they have to do what their bosses tell them to do, and the boss that he has to follow is the offensive coordinator. So stop blaming the quarterback and start blaming the offensive coordinator singularly. Subscribe to Zenny62 on YouTube and bookmark NFL News by Zenny62.com. Thanks.